So welcome to the Masknificent Vlogcast. I'm going to jump right into what I'm going to be talking about today. I feel guided to come forth to talk about their plot and God's plan as it relates to your divine destiny, and how it's important to understand that sometimes, yes, people plot against you, but God is using it for a divine purpose, so you don't need to lose heart. Now, I'm not saying that you need to just tolerate certain things, but you do have to understand that sometimes there is a purpose for when people are plotting against you. And I certainly know what that's like. Many of you have had, whether it's associates, friends, even family or so, to come against you. Some people even practicing witchcraft or different things against you. But please know that there's a plan. Just as Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery, there was a plan and purpose for everything that he went through so that he could be properly positioned for what God wanted to do to really bless several in that scenario. So understand that for your life is the same way. So you want to be able to start looking at your circumstances differently. You want to look at even people who may be trying to oppose you, that there's maybe a reason why it's happening. Again, that's not saying that it's right, not saying that you should just put up with things and tolerate it, but you do want to be careful in terms of how you do respond to certain things that maybe God has been using to get you in alignment for something that's greater. So that's the thing that you need to be really seeking God for, to understand is what is happening. Is it happening because there's a purpose for it? Am I being positioned for something greater? Or is this a scenario where I do need to stand up for myself, where I need to, put my stake in the ground, so to speak, and say, I'm not putting up with this, I'm not tolerating this, but at the same time, making sure that you've extracted the nuggets, or the nectar, I should say, the wisdom from this particular situation. Because it really doesn't matter what people plot and what they speak against you, what they, prepare to do. Ultimately, God has the final say. And when you can be in alignment with that and understand that there's a reason for it, and I know some of you are thinking like, well, I don't think there's a reason like for everything that people do. Here's the deal. Regardless if it's being allowed to happen, God can use it in some way. We learn that we can allow God to allow things to work out for our good, because he says that he'll do that. But you have to just understand, people can plot all day long. But God has a plan for you. And we know in Jeremiah 29:11, he says that those plans are to prosper you. They're not to harm you, but they're to give you a future. So if he's already prepared a future for you and wants you to participate in that preparation for that experience, then definitely understand you're going to have some contrast. You're going to have people who definitely rise up against you. But again, ultimately, it doesn't matter what they plot, what they plan. You see it all throughout the Bible. You see it even in different stories, even if they're, fictional stories or whatever. You see where the good always triumphs, that people get positioned for something far greater than what they could have ever imagined, that the plots were really positioners, because that's what happened in Joseph's life. The plot was a position for him to come into his greater expansion of his divine destiny. So you need to be encouraged that whatever you're going through, whatever you've been facing over the years or so, it is a positioner for you to come into the greater fulfillment of what God has for you. So again, their plot, God's plan. Focus on God's plan and purpose for your life. So that's what I have for you for this particular segment. Be sure to check in the description if you want to get your mask merch and your Majesty merch. And I look forward to being back with you soon. Take care and stay blessed.